I made several sanding blocks over the years and made videos showing how I did that. Sanding is a big part of woodworking, but it's not something that most people look forward to. So anything that makes it a little bit easier or go a little bit faster is a good thing. So here I go again. I've come up with a different design and haven't tried it yet. So what you're watching here is the first time this has been made. And only time will tell if I decide that it's a good idea. I'll be making a sanding block from a regular 2x4. And I'm not just going to make one, I'm going to make three. That'll give me 3 different grits of sandpaper in 3 different sanding blocks. And I won't have to change out the paper as often. There's nothing special about the 2x4 that I have. I bought it for a recent project. And after cutting out a piece that's long enough to get 3 blocks from, plus another piece the same length to use as the clamps, I need to do some cutting on a table saw. First is to make the 2x4 3 inches wide rather than 3.5. And then I'm going to tilt my saw blade to 45 degrees and carefully line it up so I cut a V-notch on each edge. And the fence and the blade should be set so that all you need to do is flip the block around and make the second cut, and it'll cut it in the right spot. Now you might be saying, whoa, why don't you just use those triangular pieces that you cut out of the V-groove as the clamps? Well, you can. It's just that they're a little bit undersized. And now that I've done it, because I've not done this before, I realize that I'm probably going to have to use more than one screw to get the right amount of pressure on the paper if I use softwood like this. So instead, I'm going to use hardwood. And it just so happens that I have a scrap of walnut. Not only will it be stronger, it'll also look better. Before doing this, I really recommend that you cut a sample to make sure you're getting the size correct, because the fit that you want here is to have this clamp just slightly below the surface when it goes in there, so you'll leave room for the sandpaper and the clamp won't be sticking out on the side. But of course, that's only really important if you want to get right into corners with this sander, which I do. Then I can cut to the length that I need, which is 5.5. And I should mention that the sandpaper I'm using here is cut from a full sheet that's divided into 4. I got 4 pieces out of 1 sheet, and each small piece fits on the sander. Now we move into optional territory. You can leave it in very rough shape like this, or you can slightly round over the corners. I'm going to do that on one side only so that I have a gradual bend, and on the other side I'll have a nice sharp 90-degree corner on each side. And then I need to drill a single hole through the middle of the clamp. I'm starting with a smaller bit and drilling all the way through and into the block, and that's the right size pilot hole for the screw. And the hole that I'm drilling here is slightly offset so that the screws won't hit each other if they're a little bit too long when you're driving them into the block. With all the pilot holes drilled, then I can switch to a slightly bigger bit to drill through the clamp itself. I got the stop set on my drill press, so I'll just go through the clamp. Then I can change to a countersink and countersink all these holes for flathead number 8 screws. The blocks are finished, and now I can get the sandpaper loaded in. I'm going to put the sandpaper face down, position the block on top of it so that I have equal margins on both sides, and then pre-bend it up. I'm going to do that with both sheets, one for each side. And then I'm going to loosen my screws, slide the paper in, and tighten one side at a time. With the first edge clamped down, I can really push the paper into the other edge and tighten that as well. I put the same grit on both sides of each block, but you can mix it up. You can have coarse on one side, fine on the other, but since I have three, I thought it would be a good idea to do it this way. And when you wear out one side, you can flip it over and use the other. Yeah, this feels good when I'm using it and get a really good grip, so I'll definitely be using these from now on.